Medieval peasants never talked about diabetes, not because they were luckier than us, but because their lives were brutally honest in a way ours is not. Every calorie was earned through physical labor, every meal was simple, seasonal, and unprocessed, and sugar was a rare luxury, not a daily addiction. Their bread was coarse and slow digesting, their food was cooked at home from whole ingredients, and their bodies were constantly moving, repairing insulin sensitivity naturally. While today, nearly every third American is pre-diabetic because modern life has turned comfort into a silent killer. Refined sugar hidden in everything, ultra-processed foods engineered to spike blood glucose, endless sitting, artificial light, chronic stress, and eating all day without hunger. Medieval peasants ate when food was available, fasted without calling it a diet, slept with the sun, and burned more energy by noon than many people do in a week. Whereas modern society sells sweetness as happiness and convenience as progress, then wonders why blood sugar spirals out of control. This is not a story of nostalgia but a warning. Diabetes is not a genetic destiny. It is a lifestyle disease created by abundance without discipline. And until we relearn the forgotten lessons of simplicity, movement, and real food, the diseases medieval people never named will continue to define the modern world. Medieval peasants did not escape diabetes because they possessed some magical genes or secret medicine, but because their entire way of life was structured around biological reality rather than industrial convenience. Their days began with the sun and ended with darkness, forcing a natural circadian rhythm that regulated hormones like insulin and cortisol, while their bodies were constantly engaged in survival-level movement, plowing fields, carrying water, chopping wood, walking miles. Activities that turned glucose into energy instead of fat, whereas modern humans sit for hours, trapping sugar in the bloodstream where it slowly becomes poison. Their food was brutally simple: whole grains ground by stone, vegetables pulled from soil, fermented foods, occasional meat, raw dairy, and honey so rare it was treated like medicine. Nothing refined, nothing stripped of fiber, nothing engineered to hijack taste buds, while today refined sugar floods the body dozens of times a day through sodas, breads, sauces, cereals, and snacks, overwhelming insulin pathways that were never designed to face such constant assault. Medieval people ate when food was available and stopped when it was gone, unknowingly practicing intermittent fasting that allowed insulin levels to fall and cells to reset. While modern society encourages non-stop eating from morning till midnight, never allowing the body to rest, repair, or heal, stress, too, played a different role. Medieval life was harsh, but stress came in short bursts followed by resolution, while modern stress is chronic, psychological, and unending, keeping blood sugar elevated even in the absence of food. Sleep in medieval times was deep and natural, aligned with darkness and silence, while modern sleep is shallow, fragmented by screens and artificial light, destroying metabolic balance night after night. Most importantly, medieval peasants lived within limits: food scarcity, physical exhaustion, seasonal cycles, limits that protected them from excess. While modern civilization removed every limit and replaced them with endless abundance, marketing sugar as joy, convenience as success, and comfort as progress, then blamed individuals when their bodies broke down under the weight of constant stimulation. Diabetes, therefore, is not a mystery disease of bad luck, but a predictable outcome of a system that feeds people calories without nutrients, pleasure without effort, and abundance without wisdom, turning survival mechanisms into liabilities. When every meal spikes blood sugar, when muscles are rarely used, when fasting is feared, and when sweetness becomes a daily drug, the pancreas eventually collapses under the strain. And what medieval peasants never needed to name becomes one of the defining illnesses of modern life. This is not a call to romanticize the past or ignore its suffering, but to recognize a brutal truth: that the human body has not evolved for supermarkets, desk jobs, and constant sugar, and until modern society relearns the forgotten disciplines of movement, simplicity, restraint, and real food, the diseases absent from medieval villages will continue to dominate hospitals, drain economies, and quietly shorten lives, proving that progress without biological respect is not advancement at all, but a slow, comfortable decline. And when we look even deeper, the contrast becomes more uncomfortable, because medieval peasants lived in a world where hunger was feared, not engineered, where food had meaning because it was earned, shared, and limited, while modern society manufactures hunger through advertising, flavor engineering, and emotional triggers, teaching people to eat not because the body needs fuel, but because the brain has been stimulated. Medieval diets were slow by nature, slow growing. Crops, slow cooking, slow eating, which meant slow digestion and stable blood sugar, while modern food is fast at every stage, fast grown, fast cooked, fast eaten, fast absorbed, sending glucose rushing into the bloodstream like a flood against a dam that was never built to withstand it. Their muscles acted as massive glucose sinks, absorbing sugar naturally through constant use, while modern muscles sit idle, shrinking and losing insulin sensitivity, forcing the pancreas to work harder with every meal until resistance turns into disease. Even their gut bacteria lived in harmony with fibrous fermented foods, supporting metabolic health, while modern guts are damaged by preservatives, emulsifiers, antibiotics, and sugar, silently disrupting glucose control long before diabetes is diagnosed. Medieval peasants experienced cold, heat, and seasonal discomfort, activating metabolic flexibility, while modern humans live in temperature-controlled boxes that remove every physical challenge, weakening the body's ability to adapt. The irony is cruel. Modern medicine can measure blood sugar to the decimal, yet modern life constantly pushes it upward, while medieval people had no tests, no terminology, no awareness of diabetes because their environment never created it in the first place. Today, prediabetes is normalized, treated as a minor warning, instead of an emergency signal, even though it represents years of metabolic damage already underway, damage that medieval lifestyles would have reversed naturally through movement, fasting, and simplicity. Children now develop insulin resistance before adulthood, something almost unimaginable in agrarian societies where youth meant labor, sunlight, and scarcity, not screens, snacks, and constant stimulation. Corporations profit from sickness by selling sugar as comfort and then selling medication as salvation, creating a cycle. Medieval peasants were never trapped in because their survival depended on respecting the body, not exploiting it. The modern world calls this progress, yet progress that produces mass illness is not advancement, but regression disguised as convenience, and diabetes stands as one of its clearest warning signs. The lesson is not to return to mud huts or abandon technology, but to understand that the human body still obeys ancient rules, rules written long before factories, before offices, before processed food, and breaking those rules has consequences no amount of innovation can erase, until society accepts that health cannot be hacked, packaged, or swallowed in pill form, and that the fundamentals, movement, restraint, real food, sleep, and natural rhythms, are non-negotiable. The gap between medieval absence of diabetes and modern epidemic will continue to widen, serving as living proof that when comfort replaces effort and sweetness replaces nourishment, the body eventually rebels, and the diseases our ancestors never named become the defining reality of our time. And this rebellion of the body is not sudden or dramatic, but slow, quiet, and deceptive, unfolding over years as blood sugar creeps upward while symptoms remain invisible, allowing modern humans to believe they are healthy until the damage is already deep, whereas medieval peasants received immediate feedback from their bodies because survival demanded responsiveness, fatigue meant rest, hunger meant scarcity, excess was impossible. Their relationship with food was rooted in necessity, not entertainment, while today eating has become a pastime, an emotional crutch, and a marketed identity, disconnecting nourishment from survival and turning it into constant stimulation. Even the rhythm of meals mattered, as medieval people often ate 1 or 2 substantial meals a day, giving insulin long periods of rest, while modern eating culture encourages breakfast snacks, lunch snacks, dinner snacks, and late-night indulgence, keeping insulin permanently elevated and trapping the body in fat storage mode. Sunlight, too, played a silent role, as daily outdoor labor regulated vitamin D and metabolic hormones, while modern indoor living weakens these systems, compounding insulin resistance. Medieval peasants carried strength in their backs, legs, and hands, functional muscle built through necessity, not gyms, and this muscle acted as a metabolic shield against glucose overload, while modern muscle is optional, often neglected, and replaced by convenience. The tragedy is that modern humans possess more knowledge than any generation before them, yet live in an environment designed to override that knowledge at every step, selling sugar to children, sedentary lifestyles to adults, and false reassurance to everyone in between. Diabetes thrives not because people are weak, but because the system is strong. Strong at pushing cheap calories, strong at minimizing movement, strong at normalizing illness. Medieval societies failed in many ways, but they did not fail at aligning daily life with human biology. And that alignment protected them from diseases of excess. The modern world, by contrast, has mastered abundance without mastering restraint, creating a paradox where food is everywhere, yet health is scarce. Until this paradox is confronted honestly, until society stops treating prediabetes as normal and starts treating it as a civilizational warning, the question will not be why medieval peasants never had diabetes, but why modern humans, with all their technology and intelligence, continue to choose a way of life that slowly poisons them, proving that the greatest threat to human health is not hardship, but comfort without limits.